Hi, hello, and welcome everyone to my channel of Profound Insights, a journey of learning, inspiration, and discovery where you can learn, grow, and share. Before we proceed further, please click on the subscribe button as well as the bell icon to get a notification of insight content, and this will encourage me to come up with more such videos. Without further delay, let's jump right in. How to deal with a narcissist at work. Introduction. What is narcissist? Narcissism refers to a complex personality trait characterized by exaggerated self importance, a lack of empathy, and a constant need for admiration. People with narcissistic personality disorders have an unreasonable high sense of their own importance, seek excessive attention, and lack understanding or care for the feelings of others. Dealing with a narcissist is often tricky, whether at home or at work. Narcissistic people display many qualities that make them difficult to be around, let alone work with. If you suspect you may be working with a narcissist and you are finding it difficult, fear not. There are things you can do to make your life easier and your working experience more enjoyable. Check out this entire video for some tips on how to deal with a narcissist at work. Workplace exhaustion. If you have ever worked with a narcissist, you will always know just how tricky it can be. Narcissistic colleagues are almost always exhausting and frustrating. Things to look for. Learning to deal with your narcissistic colleagues can be difficult, but there are things you can do to make your life easier. Let's start by looking at some of the telltale signs. Stealing credit. Narcissistic are often the first people to take credit when something goes well. They will assume full responsibility for a successful project and ignore all contributions from others. Shifting blame. On the flip side, narcissists are normally reluctant to accept responsibility when something goes wrong. They will do everything in their power to shift blame and avoid accountability. Demanding attention. Another common trait of narcissists is that they relentlessly demand attention. It's not beyond them to make a sense to draw attention to themselves. Gossiping. They also have a tendency to gossip. Narcissist people are often the first to spread rumors about others, particularly if they feel jealous or threatened. Reacting negatively to constructive feedback. Narcissists tend to react very poorly to constructive feedback. It is very difficult for a narcissist to hear they are not perfect, and often this prompts a defensive or even angry response. Charming others. For all their negative qualities, narcissistic people often present as very charming and charismatic. They are often liked by people who don't work closely with them since they make a great first impression. Being above the law. Another trademark of narcissistic people is that they think they are above the rules. They are not afraid to make unethical decisions themselves, but they hold all other colleagues to a different standard. Passive aggression. Narcissistic are often mastering passive aggression. They are fond of using gaslighting techniques as a way to justify their behavior. Gaslighting is a form of psychological abuse where a person causes someone to question their sanity, memories, or perception of reality. Seeking reassurance. While some narcissistic present are as superior and magnificent, others may present as covert and vulnerable. They may seek constant reassurance throughout the working day. Interrupting others. Narcissists tend to be very self centered and they normally prioritize their own thoughts and needs above others. As a result, they have a tendency to interrupt or ignore others. Jealousy. Although narcissistic people usually come across as arrogant, in reality they are normally very insecure. They are often jealous at the very idea of someone else's success. Unrealistic expectations. Last but not least, narcissistic are never satisfied. A narcissistic colleague will often have unrealistic expectations that cannot be met no matter how hard you work. The caveat. Of course, not all narcissistic will display all these qualities. Equally, just because someone displays a few of these characteristics, that doesn't mean they are necessarily a narcissist. Now let's look at how to deal with narcissism. Daily reality. The reality is, however, that in combination of these qualities can be very difficult to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Let's take a look at some tips for how to cope. Stay calm. The first and perhaps the most important piece of tip is to try and stay calm. Losing your temper with a narcissist will generally fuel their behavior since they will be encouraged by knowing that they have the power to upset you. Instead of yelling or flying off the handle, take a few moments to steady yourself before reacting to the situation. Show that you are in control of your emotions no matter how out of control they become. Set boundaries. It is also important to set clear boundaries when you are working with a narcissist. Establishing healthy boundaries will limit the effect a narcissist can have on you. An example of setting a boundary might be limiting the amount of time each person gets to speak during a given meeting. Enforce those boundaries. Be aware of the fact that you may need to follow through with consequences when your boundaries are violated. After all, narcissists think they are above the rules. Use sentences like, I told you I wasn't going to discuss this issue again today, so I am ending the conversation now, to help enforce your limits. Focus on the facts. When talking to a narcissist about something difficult, it is best to focus on facts rather than feelings. You will never get them to change their behavior by explaining it upsets you. Instead of focusing on your feelings or your interpretation of the situation, stick to the cold, hard facts. This will help keep the conversation less emotionally charged. Acceptance. There comes a time when working with a narcissist that you will have to learn to accept their behavior. After all, they are never going to change their ways based on your feedback. Address abusive behavior. That said, abusive behavior in the office should always be addressed, whether it comes from a narcissist or not. If someone is being bullied, you should always take action. Your role in the company will determine the best course of action in the event of abusive behavior. You may need to notify human resource or your team lead about what is going on. The silver lining. Dealing with a narcissistic colleague can be very frustrating, but there are a handful of upsides too. Narcissists are often hard workers who aren't afraid to take risks. Key takeaway. So, if you find yourself in the position of having to deal with a narcissist at work, take a deep breath and put some of these techniques into practice. I hope you enjoyed this video and the information was useful to you. As we wrap up this incredible journey together, remember that the adventure doesn't end here. Keep listening to other such videos at Profound Insights under the Career Conversations Navigating Success playlist. If you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more insightful content, and share your thoughts in the comments below. This will encourage me to come up with more such videos. Until next time, stay inspired and keep reaching the stars. Thank you.